This is the 2026 Nissan Armada NISMO, and it's more than just a cosmetics package. Hey everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. I hope you're having a great day. We borrowed this Nissan Armada from our friends at Or Nissan in Shreveport, Louisiana. If you want to know more, check out the link down in the description of the video. When you look at it, it's got the body kit on it. Basically, it's going to be here. It looks really nice. It looks lower to the ground than it really is, even when it's in stock ride height. I like what Nissan has done here. So let's talk about some of what you're going to find. Now, you'll find your classic look with your Nissan grille in this area. There's your NISMO logo. That's going to be in quite a few different areas, both outside and in. And you can't help but notice your red accent with your colors right here in so many different areas right here on the side. We're also going to have it below right here. Your front spoiler will also have that on it. And then we work our way up, and we're going to have some of the things you always see on an Armada, such as your LED daytime running lights, LED headlights, low beams and high beams, LED turn signal indicators. And then when we work our way down here, you're going to find the LED fog lights. I don't have those turned on right now, but those are there. Plenty of sensors right here that are going to allow for using your safety features, and nice large active air curtains. This is a large SUV. A lot of horsepower under the hood, going to take advantage of helping to get you the best gas mileage possible in every way possible. It's going to be all-wheel drive. That's going to be standard here as we work our way around. You're going to see something that I really like, which is the surround on the fenders right here. It seems to be just the right size. I like that with body color, but I kind of wonder how that might look if it had just a little bit of red in there. You do find red when you come down here and look at your 22-inch wheels with your brake calipers. That fits perfectly. It really sets things off against the gloss black portion of these 22-inch wheels. And then we're going to work our way up to the side view mirrors. A little bit more of the red right here. We're going to find our turn signal indicators built in. These are heated, power adjustable and power folding side view mirrors with blind spot monitoring. And let's talk a little bit about our remote. We're going to have lock, unlock, remote start. You've got your panic button. And over on the driver's side door, I'm going to show you a little trick here. We use this release right here. There is actually a lock, a physical lock. So if the remote, the key fob, the remote, whichever you wish to call that, the battery dies in that, you can still get in and out of the Armada very easily with that. You're also going to have your passive entry buttons right here on your doors, front and rear, which is something I always like. Not every competitor has it on both doors. And we'll work our way down here to the assist steps. Now these are affixed in place, but you're going to find your combination of gloss black and red. Again, that red's going to go all the way around, really accenting what this Armada is all about. And I like the nice large windows, very easy to see out of. You're going to have your crossbars you can buy to work with your roof rails up top, give you that extra cargo space that you might need. And then as we work our way back here, we're going to follow the trim all the way up right there. The Armada logo, again, the color that's going to match everything else that we see here. And as we work our way to the rear, LED lighting back here, LED taillights, and I like that the lighting, it's hard to see, but this element goes all the way across, takes a little break at the logo, then goes all the way right here. You may be able to see that a little bit better from this particular angle. Now, as we work our way to the rear window, the clean look back here, because you don't have the exposed rear window wiper. There is a wiper up here. It's just concealed away within the nice large rear roof spoiler. And that's not all we have back here. I told you that the red works its way all the way around. You can see that it comes up off of the side, works its way up right here. And then we're going to have our NISMO logo proudly displayed, prominently displayed in the middle. And obviously a few more sensors up here for your safety features. And here is the big difference. A lot of competitors that offer some kind of a specialty, kind of high performance sport, at least look package, well, it's more than looks here. And this is what happens. We do still have the turbocharged 3.5 liter V6 under the hood, but instead of making 425 horsepower, it makes 460. The torque remains the same at 516 pounds-feet. It has a 9-speed automatic transmission, 0 to 60, about 5.4 seconds. Top speed is said to be potentially 152 miles per hour. 125 is a little bit more likely. You have your NISMO tuned steering and adaptive air ride suspension. That's something else that's going to set things apart right here. And how about the MPGs with all this horsepower and torque? If you behave yourself, here are the possible potentials. We're looking at 16 city, 19 highway, 17 combined, and 5.9 gallons of gas per every 100 miles driven. And your gas tank size, 23.6 gallons. You're going to have capless fuel fill. 23.6 gallons is a good amount of fuel, especially when you consider all the horsepower and torque that you have with this Nissan Armada. Towing capacity will remain the same at 8,500 pounds. You have a spare tire located underneath the rear back here. And let's talk a little bit about cargo space. Now, we've got a few different options here as far as that goes. I'm going to push this down. You can lower your seats right here. So here's what we're going to do. So I'm going to go ahead and lower our seats down. Notice I'm not having to hold anything down. This is hands-free. Look, Mom, no hands. Now, there is a difference between what we have with these seats in the rear and the seats in the front, the middle seats. That seat's going to go down. I'm going to have to move something out of the way there, but you can see that those go flat, but you're going to have to manually raise everything back up. And as we look around, let me give you the cargo specs here. Behind the third row, 20.4 cubic feet. Behind the second row, 56.3. And behind the front row seats with everything maximized, it's 97.1 cubic feet. Now, there we go. We'll get that all the way down so you can see that. You can also see that we have a panoramic sunroof right here. The shade can be drawn back and forth for that. That front portion will slide open. And as I mentioned, there's a lot of consistency throughout the exterior and interior with the red, including the red seat belts. And we're going to have our 120 volt power outlet right here. As far as that goes, just so you can see some of the connectivity option that is here. And underneath the floor right here is a little bit more space. Get this lifted up so I can show you that. So as far as cargo space goes, a little bit of additional space located right under here in this area. There are also going to be some tie-down points back here if you need to take advantage of those, 2 on each side. All right, let's talk about what your second and third row passengers are going to find. We'll start with the door panel. Nice large armrests. You're going to see some red contrast stitching right there, right underneath the armrest area. And then the nice large door bin. It has a bottle holder up front. And as we work our way inside, I like the fact that you have a grab handle at all 4 doors. Not every vehicle has that. Sometimes the driver's seat doesn't have the grab handle. And the contrast between the black and the red really set things off. And very sporty look as far as that goes. And something that if you watch me regularly, you know me, I almost often say this, almost always say this, if you're going to have something such as your NISMO logo in the headrests on the front seats, it should also be here in the second row. Well, guess what? Nissan must have been watching my videos because that's exactly what they did. We'll give you a thumbs up on that and a Scooby snack to Nissan. Now, something else that I like here is these seats do slide back and forth. And then we can also use the release right up here to get that up and out of the way so that I can gain access to the third row. Nice amount of space to do that. And I'm just going to sit right here. Now, depending on where these seats are located, you may or may not have a decent amount of leg room. Head space is not too bad. I'm 5'10". Now, there is a button right here. Guess what that allows me to do? I can recline the seat back just like that. So people ask about that. Do the seats recline? Well, yes, they do. So we can bring that back up if we want to. We also have USB connectivity right here underneath this cover. That's going to be the same on both sides. And then a couple of cup holders right here. I like the roof mounted air conditioning vents, and something I can't say I've seen in too many other vehicles. Third row, oh crap handles. With 460 horsepower, that may be a good thing because you may have a bunch of passengers looking for that oh crap handle when you drop the hammer on that 3.5 liter V6. Now, let's move up to this area. I do want to show you something real quick because it's easy to do from this angle. We're going to have the center console here with the cup holders, a little bit of storage space, but also 2 more USB connectivity options. That's one thing I really like here about the Armada is there is no shortage of USB connections. A little more space found here in the second row. In fact, quite a bit more. You're going to have a lot more leg space. It will depend on where the front seats are set, but you can see that I can pretty much stretch out as I need to, and these seats recline too. Now, let's talk about what you're going to find right here. your command center for your third zone of climate control, dual in the front, single in the rear. Fan speed, you can set that to auto if you want to. You can determine the direction from which the air is blowing. You can control the temperature right here. Underneath that, guess what? 2 more USB ports. Told you there's a bunch throughout the interior, and also a handy dandy 12-volt power outlet. We'll also find storage within the rear seat pockets, the rear seat organizers as they're known. Good amount of space in there. I like seeing that on both sides. And once again, we're going to have the air conditioning vent right here close to the passengers. I like that better than having it way down here or way down here. Also, like I said, there's a no crap handle everywhere you look. And I'll show you the animated graphics that come up when we hit the start button. Everything's going to come up here a little unique as far as the NISMO logos. You see what comes up on the driver's display. Something that you're paying for, so you might as well know what is here. Okay, let's see what you find on the passenger side over there. Power adjustable seats for the driver and the passenger with lumbar support. We're going to find our contrast stitching here once again. I like the materials that we have here. Nice and soft, not cheap plastic or anything like that. That does the job. We're going to find our glove box right here, and right above that, while you see the storage space right there, you can also see the red contrast here as well. On the passenger side door over there, we're going to have a nice large armrest and door bin. So if you're looking for that, this is definitely the place to be. We'll work our way back over here to the upper console, and you're going to have your home link right here. 3 different settings for that. As far as that goes, you can program up to 3 garage door openers, and we have everything for the power shade and the power sunroof right here, our lighting, and the handy dandy sunglass holder. Work our way down. You've got your digital rear view mirror. If you don't want that to be digital, guess what? You can just flip that down and you're good to go. Now, we also have a bunch of different options as far as different things you can do. The button to push, turn that on right here. We select what we want to here, and then we adjust over here on this side. So for those of you that were curious about that, now you know. And we're going to move over here to the driver's side. Seat memory for the driver, a couple of different settings right there, and then we're going to have everything for our side view mirrors. I'm going to push the button right here so you can see those side view mirrors fold in. They fold in very fast too, some of the fastest moving side view mirrors I think I've seen. And we'll have lock and unlock here, controls for our side view mirror adjustments, and then you can just select which mirror you adjust right there. Also, we're going to have our controls for our side, or our windows I should say, and locking and unlocking the windows. When that's illuminated, they're locked. When it's off, they're unlocked. More of that contrast red throughout the interior. ProPilot right here. We're also going to have the button to open and close the power tailgate. As far as the steering wheel mounted controls are here, everything for adaptive cruise control over here on the left-hand side, and then voice commands, and then you can go through different information on the driver's display depending on what you want to know about. Or notice how it's illuminated orange right there. I go right here, then I can also do the same thing on the center screen. So if I want to do that, then we can go through a few different things here as well using the scroll wheel. We're going to focus right here for just a minute, and I'm going to go through the driving modes so you can see what all is here. So you're going to start with standard. We have eco, sport, and tow. Now, that's not all we have. We also have rock. Now you're going to notice your invisible hood view comes up on the center screen in these low traction mode settings that you have: sand, mud, and rut, and then we're also going to have snow. I'm going to hand the camera back real fast, and we're going to go right here. Now one more thing I do want to show you on the drive mode selector down here is what you have right here. That's your hill start assist and hill descent control. We'll move our way back up to the center screen just to show you a few things that are here. If you want to adjust how the radio sounds, you can adjust your bass and your treble, all the things that are here as far as that goes, just so you know. Also, let me go right back to one more thing here. If the screen is too bright when you're driving at night, or you just want to leave it like this, obviously you can change the brightness. You can leave that maximized if you want to, whatever you want to do. Now, selecting right here, that brings up our connections. General display, vehicle users, all that stuff's going to be here. We'll run into vehicle for just a minute just to show you a couple of things. Camera, climate, seat, interior light. Let's go in there because you have your ambient lighting right here. There are quite a few different settings as far as that goes, depending on what you want to do. Now you'll notice that the hue changes a little bit on the light as we go from delight to discovery. We'll come down here to passion. See how that changes? And then harmony, and additional. Now here's where you're going to find all of those different colors depending on what you want. The blues tend to show up the best, but that's probably going to be kind of hard to see here, even though we're in the shade a little bit in the video. So we're going to hit home right there. You do have your built-in maps. You can scroll across to a few different settings here depending on what you need to do. You've got your connections, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. You can wirelessly pair your smartphone. Go into apps right here. Depending on what you're looking for, there's your Google Assistant. You can say, hey, you know who, and ask all sorts of questions. But just to show you what's here real fast, because I know that doesn't always happen at the dealership. Some dealerships will help you out with that. Some are in a rush to get home. It just depends. And camera. Now there's a couple of different ways to get to the camera. You can do it right here, or you can come right here to this button and I can push camera. So you don't have to be in reverse to have the camera views come up. You can see your overhead view right here, and then we'll go through our different views as far as the different options go. There's our front view camera. Go right here. That's the invisible hood, if you want to know what that is. And then we can see everything. You do have your rear view, which is what we're looking at right now. You can go ahead and look at every angle you want to, literally. The only thing that's not right is the body color, as you can see right there. And if I go into reverse, then we bring up our rear view camera. And you can still go through a few different options right here as far as that is concerned. You can even zoom in if you need to. Right there, you can see what's going on where that is concerned. We're going to go back out of that. And as we work our way down, you can see camera right here. There is your hazard light button. You can adjust the volume and what you're listening to right here. Now we're only going to have heated seats as far as this model goes. You can adjust your climate control, your fan speed, all that different stuff is here. You can see all of your buttons right here as far as what else you can select depending on what you need to do. And then something right here that I'm always curious to receive your feedback on, the shifter. This is your push button shifter. So you have park, going to have reverse, neutral, and then drive. Tell me what you think about that. You can also raise and lower the suspension on your adaptive air ride suspension right here. Obviously, if you select that up area right there, it's going to raise up. And then you can also drop it by lowering right here, pushing the lower section right there. And here is the button to turn that pesky auto stop start off. Some of you like it, some of you don't, but if you want to turn it off or on, there's where you do that. Now, we have our wireless charging pad right here. Couple of USB ports. Again, they're everywhere in this vehicle. We'd rather have more than enough than not enough. Cup holders, and if you want to conceal that away, well, that's pretty easy to do. The Armada logo is right here, and then we're going to have the stripe. Once again, a lot of that red throughout the interior, and then plenty of space within. This is actually a little tray right here inside of this packaging that can sit right in here if you want it to. But you can also see the nice deep center console. All right, here we go. We'll give you a little sound clip here. Not go too crazy on that, but you do have the NISMO exhaust. That's something else that's here that's going to be different compared to any other trim level of the Armada. As I mentioned, you're going to have that with the suspension, with the steering, quite a few different things that really set this off. But I do believe that the crowning jewel is the increase in horsepower. Cosmetics are nice, but if you don't have more horsepower, it just doesn't seem the same, at least not in my opinion. The bolstering in the front seats is really good. I like that. It keeps you in place if you're out driving aggressively, having a spirited drive. Maybe you can track your Armada if you really know how to drive. It really does a good job of getting down the road, that's for sure, going from point A to point B, and you will have no trouble traversing pretty much anything you need to, because you also have all-wheel drive. So for those of you that deal with those low traction situations and you need to take advantage of the low traction modes that I mentioned earlier in the video, well, that's going to do a good job for you too. Now, we're going to make a nice turn here. Actually, pretty impressive turning radius for a full-size SUV. Just getting into it just a little bit, I can really feel that horsepower and torque pushing us back in the seats just a little bit here. We're not going to push it too hard because one of you might come in and buy this Armada. Gas pedal and brake pedal, easy to manage. Now, you do have a very comfortable ride quality. That's one thing here. You don't have stiff suspension, so you will get some body roll. Not a ridiculous amount, but a little bit. But you know, most of the time you're either going to have really great handling with a stiff ride quality, or you're going to have a smooth ride quality, but the handling isn't quite there as far as something that's high performance. Easy to learn and use technology here. I don't feel like it's an overload. We went through some of that earlier in the video. And tons of room in the first and second rows. A lot of adjustability here between the driver's seat and the steering wheel for the driver, so anybody of any height, for the most part, unless you're extremely tall or extremely not so tall, should not have any trouble getting situated here as far as it goes in the driver's seat. But overall, I'll tell you what, if you're looking for something that's a little bit different than your GMC Yukon or your Chevrolet Suburban or whatever the case may be, this is definitely something that's worth considering. And there it is, the 2026 Nissan Armada NISMO. Definitely a lot more than just a cosmetics package, exterior and interior. You also have benefit under the hood with additional horsepower and all the other things that I told you about throughout the video. Tell me what you think. I'm always curious to receive your feedback. I would like to say a special thanks to my friends at Nissan for loaning us this Armada for the day so we could tell you all about it. And a special thanks to all of you for being kind enough to give us the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. That's very helpful to us. Make sure to subscribe and share this video on your timelines on social media so other people can see it. And if you would like to learn about additional vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and I'll see you there.